1989 Fleer Baseball Cards, 10 Most Popular. If you've read anything about the hobby over the last 30 plus years, you might have gotten the impression that 1989 Fleer baseball cards are all about the Billy Ripken obscenity fiasco. But while those cards, will probably always be among the most valuable cards from the set, there is more to this gray and pinstripe set than the FF. Without further ado, here is an updated ranking of our 1989 Fleer baseball cards as determined by the PSA Population Report. The original video is linked in the description below. Let's find out how things have changed in our lineup, counting down from number 10. Number 10, 1989 Cal Ripken Jr., number 617. Cal Ripken and the Orioles went through a tough year in 1988, among the toughest ever, in fact. But the Iron Man was still a beloved hobby figure. Still is, courtesy of his 3,000-plus hits, the 1983 American League Rookie of the Year award, and 2 American League MVP awards, and the streak heard around the world. This 1989 Fleer card isn't Cal's greatest hunk of cardboard ever, but collectors still fall for it. Making his first appearance on this list, at number 9, 1989 Fleer, Mark McGwire, number 17. As 1989 dawned, collectors were hoping for a rebound for Mark McGwire, the young slugger who followed up his 49-homer Rookie of the Year season in 1987 with 32 home runs and 99 RBI as the Oakland A's rolled into an American League pennant in 1988. Number 8, 1989 Fleer, Barry Bonds, number 202. You can't have a discussion about any late 1980s baseball card set and not include Barry Bonds. The all-time home run leader is still the slender base-stealing Barry many purists claim to prefer on this card. So what's not to like? And with 762 home runs, the all-time record, and scads of other ridiculous numbers, Bonds seems like a good bet to eventually overcome his tarnished reputation, enough to eventually gain enshrinement in Cooperstown. Number 7, 1989 Fleer, Nolan Ryan, number 368. In 1989, Nolan Ryan joined the Texas Rangers to begin the final push of his legendary career. It was a magical 5-year run that would include more no-hitters, more strikeouts, more wins, and a daddy whooping of Robin Ventura when the young Chicago White Sox charged the mound. If Ryan cards weren't already hot before, the expressive stint in Arlington pushed his cardboard into supernova status. A lot of that glow remains today, and even in this overproduced issue. The last Fleer card to show Ryan with the Houston Astros is still a great catch. Number 6, 1989 Fleer, John SMOLTZ, rookie card, number 602. SMOLTZ did most of his starting and finishing with the vaunted pitching staffs of the Atlanta Braves in the 1990s and 2000s. He joined rotation mates Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine in Cooperstown in 2015. Like many others on this list, the Fireballers 1989 Fleer rookie card is still popular. Number 5, 1989 Fleer Craig Biggio rookie card, number 353. Young players can take a while to find their lot in Major League life, but for Craig Biggio, that search included a minor league career and a handful of big league seasons toiling as a catcher before moving to his forever home at second base for the Houston Astros. Amazingly, Biggio became an all-star behind the plate before moving to the other side of the pitcher, but we're all better off for the wear and tear that position switch saved on the eventual Hall of Famer. Biggio made an appearance in a couple of year-end sets in 1988, but this is his first base Fleer card. Down a few spots to number 4, 1989 Fleer Gary Sheffield, rookie card, number 196. Sheffield was the big stick-swinging shortstop who also happened to be Dwight Gooden's nephew and was going to make everybody forget about Ernie Banks. Sheffield ended up at third base and then the outfield in the major leagues, and the only person he made folks forget about was Dave Magadan. Still, he swatted more than 500 home runs and should probably garner more Hall of Fame consideration than he has to this point, PEDs or not. Sheffield has a rookie card across the board in the 1989 sets. Up several spots to number 3, 1989 Fleer Billy Ripken, wideout, number 616. You know the basic story here, right? Billy Ripken showed up on his 1989 Fleer card with an obscenity on the knob of his bat. When collectors started pulling the card, the hobby freaked out. Then Fleer freaked out and tried about 74 different ways to fix the thing. scribbles, black boxes, alien abduction, witness protection, whiteout. In the end, the two variations which seem to resonate most with collectors, and which seems the hardest to come by, are the whiteout version and the so-called FF version. I'm just showing the whiteout version here because I really don't feel like dropping the F-bomb in this space. Think of the children. Also at number 3, the 1989 Fleer Billy Ripken FF, number 616. If you like your Billy Ripken a bit more broady, then this FF version is definitely for you. The good news is that you can usually find this popular saucy cardboard both in raw and graded condition. Up several spots to number 2, 1989 Fleer Randy Johnson rookie card, number 381. In 1989, Randy Johnson was still a huge enigma. Would he ever be able to harness the enormous potential of his left arm, or would his outsized walk rate continue to eat him up? The only way to be sure, it seemed, was to trade him to the Seattle Mariners, and his profile seemed a bit more modest in the shadow of the Space Needle. All puns aside, the big unit developed into one of the most dominating starters of his generation and an all-time great who took his rightful place in Cooperstown in 2015. Johnson's 1989 Fleer card is not quite as monstrous, but does offer an interesting variation. The background of the card can be found with a Marlboro ad on the scoreboard behind Randy, or with a blacked-out version of said ad, or with some half-hearted in-between attempt. Sort of reminds me of another 1989 Fleer card. Anyway, there seems to be tons of variation here, depending on the degree of Fleer's contrition for advertising cigarettes to minors at any given moment. New at number 1, and definitely the most popular card graded in this set, the 1989 Fleer Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, number 548. Look, this is the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, so you know it has to land at the top of the mountain for whatever set it appears in. This is just what happens when you're one of a dozen or so of the greatest players of all time. Off the list, but still worth mentioning. Before Joe Girardi became a good manager for the Florida Marlins and a maybe great manager for the New York Yankees, he was a pretty darn good catcher for the Yanks, the Chicago Cubs, the Colorado Rockies, and the St. Louis Cardinals over the course of a 15-year major league career. Like our video? Then like our video and subscribe to our channel. waxpackgods.com